Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare again with you on the 22nd of February, 2024. I am joined again today with Psychic Media Man viewer Liz Cross. How are we doing today, Liz?
Oh, fantastic. I've been up since 4 o'clock.
I know you're crazy. You're a crazy lady. Right. We're doing somebody's probe that they put in. This is relational to Australia. And there's a few questions that we need to get through, Liz. They want us to probe Australia as a whole entity. A lot of this is to do with housing and cost of living and things like that. So
it's a big problem in Australia.
Right. So
massive.
Want us to look out at the next 2 years, 24 to 26. Okay. So let's start. Okay.
All right. I have Australia as an entity. What would you like to know?
Well, one of the questions is something about, is something coming in that is in the next 2 years. Now, do you want to do it that way, or do you want to do it the other way? Do you want to go out to the end of 26 and go back and look?
Yeah, we can go out. All right. So let's go. Let's see. The audience like to drink.
Sorry?
Drink a lot. So let's go to December 30th.
Oh yeah, well, we always do
that. So December 30th, 2026, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
So were there any positive changes that came to Australia during the last 2 years?
Are there any positive changes that came to Australia in the last 2 years? I feel like there has been some change. They are trying to implement some type of affordable housing, but what I do see over the last 2-year period is a massive influx in immigrants.
Right. Okay. Do Australians think that is a positive? Because I can tell you in the West, in the Europe here, where a lot of people, even ones that were pro-immigration, are starting to turn very much anti-immigration now. So does Australia look at that as a positive?
So the residents, the citizens, absolutely not. The government, yes.
Okay, well, this is the disconnect between people and the government. So yeah, okay. The rental crisis, whatever the rental crisis now currently is in February 24, by the end of 2026, has the rental crisis got any better? Or
no, it's worse.
Right.
The prices have gone up.
Okay. Apparently home loans have doubled almost. I'm assuming that's the interest rate. In other words, I'm assuming that's what the questioner meant. So, okay, so do we see any rate cut? Right. Were there any rate cuts in 25, 24, 25, or 26?
Slightly, yes.
Okay. Was that 24 or 25 or 26?
More 25 and 26.
Okay. Has the cost of food compared to February 24 increased, decreased, or stayed the same?
Has the cost of food compared to February 24 increased? It's about the same.
All right, so they haven't had food inflation particularly or anything?
Well, they've had a lot of food inflation over the last few years, but according to like what I'm pulling 24, 25, 26, no, it's relatively stagnant. It's the same price. Look, I did a reading for someone out in like New Zealand who said a head of cabbage is $8.
Wow.
A head of cabbage. Really? Oh my God. How can you afford to eat?
Hmm. Okay. Right. I just need to pull up a page here for a minute and look at something.
So while you're doing that, I just want to ask a question of of my own. So has the government started developing this affordable housing, and is it on land that otherwise would have never been built on? I do feel that. I feel like there has to be a move away from these very concentrated areas. Um, a lot of congregation around the city areas. People are going to have to move out.
Right. Okay. So look, no, I'm trying to find. Let's just go back to the question again. Hold on.
21-hour flight. That's why I don't go. I would love to go to Australia, but the prospect of being on a plane for 21 hours is not my idea of a good time. It really isn't.
Mm,
Even if you fly from here to Hawaii and break it up, and then it's like a 12-hour flight from Hawaii, that still is not appealing to me. I'm sorry, Aussies. I even have family out there, and I've never been out there just because it's so far.
yeah. Trying to find trying to find an interactive map that uh,
Oh, the 7 states.
well, I don't
Yeah, there
okay.
you go.
Well, we might have to drill down a bit because all right, so the next question is where is the best place in Australia to buy a house to live in? So if we start by the states, the 7 states,
Mhm.
so we've got Western Australia, the Northern Territories, Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria. Where is the best place to buy a house to live in out of
Where?
those?
Well, it depends what the questioner means by best. Now, I think he's probably looking at a price point of view. Okay, because at first, the best, because everything's very literal, the best place I got New South Wales, right? Well, of course, it's, if
Oh,
you can afford it, it's all
yeah,
happening. There's cities there, there's lots of activities. Now, if we're looking at a price point of view, what is the best state? Is it New South Wales? No. Is it Queensland? No. Is it the Northern Territory? Yes.
all right. Okay, but that's probably, from my limited knowledge of Australia, the most sparsely populated, is it not? I'm not sure. Okay. Um, all right.
Not even have the internet in some of those places.
All right. Darwin. All right. Okay. Okay. Next question. Best place for an investment property in Australia?
Okay, so the best place for an investment property, would that be Western Australia, Northern, no, Queensland, yes, South Australia, no, New South Wales, no, Victoria, and for some reason, Western Australia.
You mean around Perth or
Yes.
right? Okay. Um, has the cost of living got any better? In other words, reduced over the last 2 years, if we're out at the end of 26, or has it stayed the same or got worse? What's happened to the cost of living over the last 2 years?
It's actually become worse.
Right. So everything, groceries, utilities, everything costs more now, do they?
Or utility.
So that means the average Australian wage earner has less disposable income?
That's correct. Now, I don't feel the utilities have gone up. I
Right.
don't feel, what about the taxes? Not so much the taxes, but the property prices seem to have gone further up in an upward direction, pricing most people out of the property market completely.
Right. Okay. Right. The next question and final question is, I didn't know this, but it's saying, why is Sydney, which is in New South Wales, the most tolled and expensive place in the world? I didn't know it was, but
The most expensive place in the world?
I don't believe that. Not for 1 minute. And the most tolled? What do they mean by that? You have to pay a toll to go in?
Oh, oh, maybe it is. So
Is it?
why is it the most expensive tolled place in the world? Well, it's an easy way to make money.
Hmm.
That's what I'm getting. It's an easy way to generate a lot of money very quickly. Um, I
Um,
don't feel that these toll roads are always private roads.
right,
I feel like some of them are government toll roads,
right.
and it's just an easy way to make money. And what was
I'm just looking on the Forbes site now, just quickly Googled it. Oh, Sydney is not the most expensive place. I mean, Singapore and Zurich in Switzerland currently, then New York and Geneva, then Hong Kong, then LA, then Paris, and Copenhagen, Tel Aviv, and San Fran. So, I mean, it's not even in the top 10. So, I mean, okay, their road tolls maybe a bit higher, but, you know.
well, their road tolls. Well, I understand that. You understand that. But for somebody who's actually living there, it's no picnic, right? Even the most mediocre of homes is over $1 million Australian just for something just simple. No land, nothing major.
Uh,
And people cannot afford to buy homes over there anymore. This
okay.
is going exactly where I said it was going. If you remember 3 years ago, I said inflation's going to be 40%, home ownership was going to be down, the cost of living was going to be significantly increased.
Okay.
This is what they want. They're creating rental markets. I
I was just,
don't feel as I probe Australia. Do you care that people own their homes or not? No, they don't. They would actually prefer the Australian government, as I probe them, that people don't own their own homes.
right.
From a tax point of view, get this, right? This is their reasoning. I'm saying, okay, just give this to me again. So, from a tax point of view, you're getting taxed on your wages, then you're paying rent, and whoever you're paying rent to is also paying tax as an income. So,
Hmm.
it's like double, triple, whatever taxation. They would actually prefer there were renters and not owners.
Right. I've just looked on another list, and actually, Sydney, Australia, does make the top 10 in number 10. But I mean, Singapore is still the number one most expensive place in the world.
Yeah, but do people in Singapore make comparable money to live there? They probably do. Listen, Australians are hurting. And every reading I have out of Australia, we have a lot of Australians that follow the channel. They are in dire straits out there. They can barely afford to live. They can't afford to buy property. They can barely afford to pay rent. Every time they turn around, the rent is going up. It's a real problem.
Mm.
And they're taxed like you wouldn't believe out there. High taxation. Mr. Shakespeare, it's nothing like, we think the UK is high taxation. people in the US, they have no idea how good they have it compared to the rest of the world. They really, really don't. People want to complain about taxes in the US. Honest to God, go live in Europe, go live in Australia, go live in Canada. The
Yeah.
taxation is high. And
Mm-hmm.
so in Australia, it is high taxation.
Right. Oh,
So what else
that's
would you
it.
like to know?
That's all the questions we have.
Well, thank you to our member that submitted this on the Patreon. Thank you very much. This will help a lot of people. A lot of times people are like, oh my God, Liz, this is so negative. But what you do is you don't sit there having a pity party, right? You say, what can I do now that I know this is the situation? How do I make it better for me and my family? And that's how you have to look at these things. Don't sit there crying a river, right? That's not what this information is about. This information is to empower you, and
Mm.
you've got to take action. It may be that there's mass migration from Australia. Maybe we're going to see Australians jumping ship and saying, hey, we're out of here, we're going to a place that's affordable, and we'll take our remote jobs with us. So very interesting. All right, I'll stop this one here. Looks like you can see what the next the next video is going to be. Thank you.